Welcome to Senior Care Insights on YouTube, the place where we really get into topics vital for, your health and well-being as we navigate our later years.
Hello, everyone.
Today, we're cracking open a subject that seems simple, but, well, it can be surprisingly complex.
Mhm.
Eggs.
Mhm.
We're going to explore why these little nutritional powerhouses can be such a valuable addition to your diet.
That's right. Eggs, um, they often get a bit of a mixed review, don't they? It's sort of checkered past in terms of reputation.
They really do.
But when we actually look at what they offer, especially for seniors, they really shine. A convenient and nutrient-rich food. We're here to give you the straightforward facts.
Okay, so let's get straight to it then. Are eggs actually good for seniors? It feels like such a basic question, but honestly, you hear so many different things.
Yeah, it's a fair question, and the short answer is generally yes. For the most part, eggs are a fantastic food for seniors, when eaten the right way, of course, and in reasonable amounts.
Okay.
They're just packed with a wide variety of nutrients that are particularly beneficial as we age.
Right.
Plus, let's face it, they're soft, easy to chew, easy to cook,
Right.
which is a real win for many older adults.
Agreed. That ease of preparation is a huge factor, definitely. Now, let's talk specifics. What makes them so good for us? What are the key nutritional benefits seniors can get from eating eggs?
Okay, well, think about bone health, for starters. Eggs contain both calcium and vitamin D. Now, the calcium amount isn't huge, maybe 55 milligrams per 100 gram, but that vitamin D,
Uh-huh.
that's crucial because it actually helps your body absorb the calcium you get from other foods, too. And that's essential for keeping bones strong, preventing that thinning that can lead to fractures.
Ah, so it's the teamwork, the combination that's helpful there.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
What else? What else do eggs offer that's particularly relevant for seniors?
Let's consider brain function. Eggs are a really good source of something called choline.
Choline. Okay.
Yeah, about 147 milligrams in a large egg. Think of choline as like a building block for a really important messenger chemical in your brain, acetylcholine.
Right, I've heard of that. For memory.
Exactly. It plays a key role in memory and overall cognitive function. So getting enough choline through foods like eggs can be a simple, natural way to support your brain health.
That's a great way to put it, keeping those brain messengers working well. And protein. Protein is always a big topic as we age, right? Maintaining strength.
Definitely. And eggs are a fantastic source of high-quality protein. We're talking maybe 13 to 15 grams per 100 grams of egg.
Wow.
That protein is vital for maintaining and repairing our muscles, our tissues, all our organs, really. As we age, we naturally tend to lose muscle mass, sarcopenia, it's called.
Mm-hmm.
So having easily digestible protein, like the kind you get in eggs, is really important for staying strong, staying mobile.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, so bones, brain, muscles. What about keeping our immune systems, up to par? Especially important these days.
Absolutely. Eggs contain several nutrients that support a healthy immune system. Think selenium, about 18 milligrams per 100 grams zinc, around 3.7 milligrams, and also vitamins A and E. These are all important antioxidants. Think of them as little protectors for your body's cells. Selenium and zinc, for example, they directly help your immune cells function properly and fight off infections. Vitamin A and E help protect against age-related degeneration.
Little defenders in a shell. I like that.
Hmm.
And I've also heard eggs are good for your eyes. Is that true?
Yes, they absolutely are. Eggs provide lutein and zeaxanthin. Chicken eggs have some lutein. Duck eggs actually have quite a bit more.
Oh, interesting.
These are powerful antioxidants that accumulate in the retina of your eye. They can help protect your eyes from damage, potentially reducing the risk of cataracts and age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. Two very common eye conditions in older adults.
It's really quite amazing how much good stuff is packed into one small egg. Anything else on the benefit list before we move on?
One more I think is worth mentioning.
So,
Folate, or folic acid. You get about 50 to 80 micrograms per 100 gram.
okay.
Folate also acts as an antioxidant and can help protect your central nervous system. Some research even suggests it might play a role in potentially lowering the risk of Alzheimer's and other forms of memory loss.
Wow. So we're covering bones, brain, muscles, immunity, eyesight, and memory support. It really does sound like a pretty remarkable food when you list it all out.
They really are nutrient dense. I mean, when you look at the daily recommended intake for seniors, eggs contribute significantly across the board. Just one or two eggs can give you a good chunk, maybe 15–20% of your daily protein needs.
Right.
And significant amounts of omega-3s, selenium, vitamin B12, iodine, iron, vitamin A, folate, vitamin E, vitamin D, even zinc It's quite a package.
It's clear eggs offer a lot of positives,
Yeah.
but, we should be balanced. We need to touch on any potential downsides too. Can eating too many eggs cause problems for seniors?
That's a very important point. Like with almost any food, moderation is absolutely key. Too much of a good thing isn't always good.
Right.
One area that sometimes comes up is that choline content we mentioned earlier as a benefit for the brain. In some individuals, gut bacteria can convert choline into a substance called trimethylamine, or TMA. And some studies, mostly observational, have suggested a possible link between high levels of TMA and potentially stimulating cancer cell growth. Particularly mentioned are prostate, colon, and rectal cancers.
Okay, so that's something to be aware of at least. What about the big one? Cholesterol. Eggs are famous or infamous for cholesterol.
Ah, yes, the cholesterol debate. It's been going on for decades.
Yes.
Eggs do contain cholesterol, mainly in the yolk, around 186 milligrams in a medium egg yolk.
So is that bad?
Well, here's the thing. For about 70% of people, so most healthy individuals, the cholesterol you eat in food actually has less impact on your blood cholesterol levels than we once thought. Your liver produces cholesterol, and it usually adjusts its production based on how much you eat.
Oh, okay.
For many people, eating eggs doesn't negatively affect their total or their bad LDL cholesterol. In fact, sometimes it can even increase the good HDL cholesterol.
Interesting. But what about specific groups?
Right. There is some evidence suggesting that for individuals with type 2 diabetes, very high egg consumption might be linked to an increased risk of cardiovascular problems. However, other studies, like one where type 2 diabetics ate up to 2 eggs a day, 6 days a week for 3 months, found no significant negative impact on their blood lipid levels.
So it's nuanced.
It is. The general consensus now is that for most seniors, enjoying eggs as part of a balanced diet is fine. Perhaps limiting intake to, say, no more than maybe 3 eggs total per day is a sensible upper limit, but most people probably eat far fewer than that anyway.
Right.
It really comes down to moderation and mindful choices. And of course, if you have specific health concerns like high cholesterol or diabetes, it's always best to chat with your doctor or a registered dietitian about what's right for you.
That makes sense. So it's about finding that right balance and considering individual health. Given that, what would you say is a general guideline for how many eggs a senior can comfortably include in their diet? Maybe thinking about that cholesterol point.
Yeah, focusing on the overall dietary cholesterol intake is a good practical approach. General guidelines often suggest keeping dietary cholesterol below 300 milligrams per day.
Okay.
Since almost all the cholesterol is in the yolk, a reasonable guideline for most seniors might be to limit egg yolks to no more than 1 or perhaps 2 per day.
Focusing on the yolks.
Exactly. The egg whites, on the other hand, contain over 60% of the egg's protein, but are very low in cholesterol and fat. They're easily digestible too. So seniors could potentially consume, say, 4 or 5 egg whites daily if needed to meet their protein goals, which are often around 60-70 grams per day. Whites can be a good substitute for some animal meats.
That's a really helpful distinction, yolk versus white. And you mentioned duck eggs earlier.
Yes, just a quick note on that. While protein levels are similar, duck eggs contain significantly more cholesterol than chicken eggs. So generally, chicken eggs are the preferred choice for regular consumption, especially if cholesterol is a concern.
Good tip. Okay, now, thinking practically, how should seniors ideally prepare their eggs to get the most benefit and avoid potential issues?
The simplest methods are often the best, nutritionally speaking. Boiling or steaming eggs.
Okay.
These methods preserve the most nutrients, and crucially, they don't require adding extra calories or potentially unhealthy fats from cooking oils like frying might.
Makes sense. What about timing? Does it matter when you eat them?
Some suggest that eating eggs earlier in the day, like at breakfast, might be beneficial for digestion and nutrient absorption to start the day. But the main thing is just sticking to those moderate amounts we discussed.
Right. Simple preparation, moderation. Got it. Now, are there any specific things seniors should be particularly careful about when eating eggs? Maybe combinations with other foods that aren't ideal?
Yes, definitely a few important considerations there. Firstly, and this is crucial, avoid raw or undercooked eggs.
Like Longo style, sunny side up with runny yolks.
Exactly. Older adults can have weaker or more sensitive digestive systems, and our bodies actually find it harder to absorb the protein from raw eggs. More importantly, raw and undercooked eggs can harbor bacteria like salmonella.
Food poisoning risk.
Precisely. Salmonella can cause nasty diarrhea and other complications, which can be more serious for seniors. Also, raw eggs contain something called antitrypsin, which can hinder protein digestion. So cook them thoroughly.
Okay, cook thoroughly. Definitely noted. What about cooked eggs that might have been left out for a while? Say, boiled eggs from yesterday.
It's really best not to eat cooked eggs that have been left overnight at room temperature or even sometimes in the fridge for too long. After cooking, the egg protein structure changes, it denatures.
Right.
Leaving cooked eggs out for extended periods, especially if not refrigerated properly, reduces their nutritional value and significantly increases the risk of bacterial contamination.
Yeah.
This can really affect digestion and potentially cause upset.
So fresh is best with cooked eggs too, or properly stored and consumed quickly. Got it. Now, about those food combinations. Are there any foods that don't pair well with eggs, especially for seniors?
Interestingly, yes, there are a few traditional recommendations and some with a bit more scientific reasoning. For example, it's often advised to avoid drinking tea immediately after eating eggs.
Really? Tea? Why is that?
Tea contains compounds called tannins, specifically tannic acid. This can combine with the protein in eggs in the stomach, potentially slowing down intestinal movement and possibly causing issues like constipation or indigestion for some people.
Huh. I wouldn't have thought of that. What else?
Another combination sometimes flagged is eggs with soybeans or soy milk. Soybeans contain substances like trypsin inhibitors and proteinase, which can actually interfere with the body's ability to break down and absorb the protein from the eggs effectively.
Okay, so maybe separate eggs and soy products in meals? Any others based on traditional advice?
Yeah, there are a few from traditional medicine perspective.
Yeah.
One suggests avoiding combining eggs with rabbit meat. Both are considered cooling foods in that system, and eating them together is thought to potentially cause digestive upset like diarrhea.
Interesting. More traditional wisdom there.
And another one is combining eggs with persimmons, especially unripe ones. Persimmons contain high levels of tannins, similar to tea. When these tannins mix with egg protein in the stomach, they can potentially form indigestible compounds. In rare, severe cases, this could lead to digestive blockage, food poisoning symptoms, or even acute gastroenteritis.
Wow. Okay, persimmons and eggs maybe not the best mix. Any other specific food pairings to be cautious of?
Two more come to mind. Combining eggs with pig brains. Both are very high in cholesterol, but pig brains are exceptionally high. Eating them together could potentially cause a sharp increase in blood pressure, which is definitely not advisable.
Right. That sounds like a cholesterol overload.
And the other is about preparation. Avoid frying eggs with a lot of garlic, especially burnt garlic. Garlic itself can be heating and potentially irritating to the stomach for some seniors with weaker digestion. Combining it with fried eggs might cause indigestion. Plus, frying garlic until it's brown or burnt can actually create trans fats, which increase the risk of atherosclerosis.
Okay, so maybe use garlic sparingly and don't overcook it when having eggs. That leads into cooking methods again. You mentioned oils earlier.
Yes, absolutely. Be mindful of the cooking oils you use if you do fry or scramble eggs. Avoid things like general vegetable oil blends, cooking sprays which can have propellants, margarine, and canola oil. These tend to be high in omega-6 fatty acids, which can promote inflammation if consumed in excess relative to omega-3s.
Oh, what's better?
Opt for healthier fats in moderation, like extra virgin olive oil, ghee, clarified butter, or even better, stick to those non-fat methods like poaching or boiling most of the time.
Good practical tips. And what about what we serve with eggs? Like a classic breakfast plate.
Yeah, try to limit pairing eggs frequently with processed meats like bacon, sausage, and ham.
Oh, the classics.
I know. But they're often very high in sodium, nitrates, nitrites, and other compounds linked to increased blood pressure, cholesterol imbalances, and even increased cancer risk with high consumption.
So, what are healthier alternatives to pair with eggs?
Think about things like avocado, steamed spinach, grilled tomatoes, mushrooms, maybe some whole grain toast. Much better nutritionally.
Makes sense, diversifying the plate.
And diversifying the preparation.
Ah,
Vary how you eat your eggs and what you eat them with. This helps ensure you get a wider range of nutrients and avoids potential issues like cholesterol buildup if you're eating lots of yolks without enough fiber. Rotate between, say, boiled eggs with fruit and chia seeds one day, a veggie omelet the next, maybe some baked egg muffins with lots of vegetables.
keep it interesting and balanced. Good advice. And quickly, storage. How should we keep eggs?
Simple but important. Store eggs in their original carton in the main compartment of the refrigerator,
Not the door.
preferably not the door. The door is often the warmest part due to opening and closing, leading to temperature fluctuations. The main compartment is more stable. Always check the best by dates and never leave eggs out at room temperature for more than 2 hours, as bacteria like salmonella can multiply quickly.
Excellent safety tips. Okay, we've covered a lot, from the fantastic benefits to potential downsides and practical
We
considerations.
have. And just to circle back on that cholesterol point one last time for clarity.
Please do.
While a medium egg yolk has about 186 milligrams of cholesterol, remember for most healthy people, around 70%, this dietary cholesterol has less impact on their blood cholesterol than saturated and trans fats do. The liver usually adjusts its own cholesterol production. Eating eggs often doesn't negatively affect total or LDL bad cholesterol for these individuals and can even raise HDL cholesterol. But again, individual responses vary, especially with pre-existing conditions.
Great clarification. It's more complex than just eggs are bad for cholesterol.
Exactly. It's about the whole dietary pattern and individual health.
So, wrapping this up, it sounds like eggs can absolutely be a really valuable, nutrient-dense part of a senior's diet. They offer a wide range of health benefits, don't they?
They certainly do. From bone health to brain function, muscle maintenance, eye health, the list is impressive.
Mm,
The key, as we've said throughout, really lies in mindful consumption.
right.
Choosing the right, healthy preparation methods, being aware of portion sizes, especially with the yolks, and avoiding some of those potentially problematic food combinations or preparation styles we discussed.
So, as you, our listeners, think about your own diet, maybe consider how eggs currently fit in. Hopefully, the tips we've discussed today give you some ideas for a healthier approach if needed. Do you have any questions about eating eggs as a senior? Or maybe your own experiences or tips? Please share your thoughts and questions in the comments below. We genuinely love hearing from you.
We really do.
And if you found this deep dive into eggs helpful, please do give this video a like, maybe share it with friends or family who might benefit, and please leave a comment. Most importantly, if you haven't already, subscribe to Senior Care Insights. That way, you won't miss our future discussions on important topics for your health and well-being. We look forward to sharing more insights with you soon.
And perhaps a final thought to leave you with. Sometimes we focus on big dietary changes, but even small, informed adjustments can make a real difference over time. Thinking about eggs, what's maybe one simple change you could make based on our chat today? Perhaps trying boiling instead of frying sometimes, or adding some veggies to your scramble. Just something small to consider for your own health journey.